Hello and welcome to more Wet n Wild Beauty. I swear to you, I'm not sponsored. Wet n Wild again has never sent me anything, has never compensated me. I've probably spoken to them in Instagram DMs like 2 or 3 times in my 10.5 years. I just buy this crap with my own money because I love makeup and I'm passionate about it. And I'm in a flow right now with making content. I know some events are coming up that are going to kind of trip me up, like Valentine's and Super Bowl. So I'd like to keep the flow going and not have to skip a week. But I know I'm in control. It's my decision what I do. But here we are. And today I'm very excited to talk about this. I'm always excited, right? It doesn't really matter. Why even start with that? We're going to talk about the Wet n Wild Chameleon Chrome Eyeshadow. So, of course, I have the review, the swatches, the wear test, every fine detail, all of the things. And I am extra excited for these because these are innovative and a new concept for the drugstore. Typically, you have to find this sort of product from high-end brands or more independent brands. And it really pulls from K-Beauty, but we're getting it in the drugstore with a phenomenal formula. Like Wet n Wild really outdid themselves here, and the price point makes sense. So let's get into it. We'll start with the at a glance. So the Chameleon Chrome Eyeshadow, not to be confused with the eye foil. That's a different product, and we'll talk about that in a future episode. This is a creamy metallic chrome eyeshadow with a color shift. It is available in 6 shades. They are $7 each, $6.99. The formula is highly reflective, creamy eyeshadow. The packaging is so cute. It is a square eyeshadow single. It has a clear lid, no mirror. In the bottom part, the colored plastic has some glitter in it. I just love it. It's sturdy. It snaps shut. If you remember Wet n Wild's OG eyeshadow singles, they had 2 different rounds of them. The OG, and then in like around 2018 or so, I'm forgetting, they like reformulated, redid the packaging. Did you know those are discontinued? Almost all the shades have been discontinued. Go on their site and look. There's only a few left. They discontinued Brulee, like one of the most iconic drugstore products. That's neither here nor there. The packaging here obviously reminds me of it, but it is leveled up again and just very current and modern for the times. As far as availability goes, it should be available at most major retailers. I'll give you the breakdown when we get over to that section. I always tell you about that, but let's keep reading the blog post here. So I have all of the shades, and I'm doing my typical detailed review with swatches, a star rating. You get to see it on my eyes and other places, as I'm always experimenting and trying new things. So by the end of this podcast, or if you're watching the videos or reading, wherever you are, you're going to find out, does this formula work? What colors do I want to buy? But we'll begin breaking this down with the details, the claims, and the price. So the eyeshadow comes in 6 shades. They're called Comet Couture, Lunar Voltage, Meteor Muse, Moon Flare, Nebula Rush, and Starlight Fever. The formula is designed to give you a multi-dimensional chrome look that shifts as the light hits it from different angles. Each shade is sold individually, and they're made in Mexico, $7 each. So the claims, Wet n Wild, are it should give you a high-impact multi-chrome effect using vibrant light-shifting pigments with ultra-reflective pearls, and the formula should be silky, blendable, and have that texture that glides on smoothly and builds without effort. It's marketed as a versatile item. So that means you can wear it alone, you can layer it, you can really customize your look. And Wet n Wild's products are cruelty-free and not tested on animals. To apply them, Wet n Wild recommends that you go right onto the fingertip and put it on your eyelid, but you can use a flat brush. It will just give you a softer effect, and you can layer and blend these to your liking. So summary, these are single shadows sold individually, not in a palette, designed for multidimensional chrome and light shift, can be worn alone or layered over shadows, and they are cruelty-free and made in Mexico. So where to buy? Where the heck do you get these things? Walmart is just the powerhouse for the new Wet n Wild releases in 2026. And part of that is with the pudding, blush, and bronzers. There are shades that are exclusive to Walmart. So I think they just kind of had to level up and got everything. So Walmart online has all of the shades. When you go in store, in terms of the new releases right now, you're only going to find a few on a display on an end cap. It should hit the regular display eventually. I just don't know if they're going to have all of them or yet. I haven't been to Walmart for a month now. I try not to go there a lot. Walgreens has a few in store on the permanent display right now, but they have 2 online, and Wet n Wild only has 4 online. So I'm wondering if they're going to end up saying the 2 missing shades are Walmart exclusives. I don't know because they haven't promoted it on social media yet. The release versus Wet n Wild promoting on social media is always a very large gap, and right now they're focused on Mother Fluffer. So if they end up saying there's exclusive shades, I'll update the blog post. I went back and updated the blush and the bronzer to tell you what the Walmart exclusive shades were, okay? But these eyeshadows are part of the 2026 new products release, and they are a part of the Chameleon Chrome collection that is expanding from the original release 1 year ago in 2025. So I'm sure as the months roll on, we're going to find these eyeshadows at more retailers, online, in store. Just be patient. But the summary, Wet n Wild carries all 6 shades. Wet n Wild and Walgreens have limited shade selections. Prices are consistent for the most part across retailers, so they're going from $6.97 to $6.99. Walmart, if you've ever noticed that, I'm just going to put this out here. I worked there for 4.5 years. I also took retail management marketing in college, so I can confidently tell you, whenever you see pricing schemes like 97 cents at the end, 98, whatever, that is a psychological thing. It's to make you think that they are giving you the lowest possible price right down to the penny, doing right by you as the consumer. It's all a farce. As you can clearly see here, the other retailers are selling it for $6.99. That is the price. They're just able to shave off a couple of pennies to give you the psychological feeling that Walmart is just doing right by you and giving you the cheapest price. You probably already knew that, but it's not true. It's all fake. Don't fall for it. And finally, availability is expected to expand throughout 2026. Moving on to the ingredients. So they are silicone and wax base, and that's how you get that smooth glide and reflective finish. And in the blog post, I have the full ingredient list. As you know, I'm not going to read it because I can't pronounce all the wild stuff in here, but typical with eyeshadows, the pigments will vary per shade, so just always read the ingredients over and see if there's anything in there that you know you are sensitive to. But the summary here really describes and breaks down the ingredients well for you. So the silicones and the waxes, once again, give you the smooth glide, and the ingredients work together to give you the reflectivity as well as the adhesion of the pigments on the skin. So the pigments themselves do vary, but they're suitable for people that really like creamy, non-dusty eyeshadows. When I get to the actual review, I'll tell you kind of more about this formula, but I am going to say some more here with texture and formula. So these are powders, kind of, sort of, but they're smooth and creamy, and they sit somewhere between a traditional powder and a soft cream. They feel dense but emollient in the pan. They're not dry or dusty, and that's where you get the reflective pigmentation and the adhesion. On application, the formula glides on easily. It doesn't skip, and you can kind of build it up. So I'm just like bursting at the seams. I have so much to say when I'm waiting until I get to that section. And you'll understand why it's not necessarily buildable, at least 3 out of the 6 shades. Fingertips is going to give you the most intense chrome color shift. If you go for a flat synthetic makeup brush, you're going to get more softer, more of a diffused look. So the texture allows it to be worn on its own, but of course you can layer with other shadows and do whatever you want to do. It's not going to lift whatever's underneath, okay? But the waxes, the silicones, and the formula give you that smooth finish rather than a chalky powder. but it also enables that light shifting effect. So summary of that, it feels creamy and dense rather than powdery. It applies smoothly without fallout. Buildable coverage depending on application method. So the brush is what makes it a little bit more buildable, but wait till I say more about these shades coming up soon. And they work well alone or layered over other shadows. Swatches in shades. So in the blog post, I do have image swatches. I'm going to call out right now. I have a typo on Nebula Rush. The L and the U are flipped. And please don't roast me for that. It is what it is because I realized it too late to be able to go back and fix it. Okay? So the swatches are done on my bare skin. I have fair skin, just so you can see the true reflect. There's no primer, there's no dark base, just my finger is what I use. And the shades very clearly fall into two categories, either bold, full coverage chromes, or more of a soft topper. So I'll take you through these. Meteor Muse is a vivid emerald green, and it has a strong teal blue shift. It is the most dramatic shade. It gives you that full opaque payoff. It's my favorite because I'm a green girly. I was just obsessed with my look, outfit, all of it the day that I tried the green, okay? Nebula Rush is a rose mauve base with a green gold flip. So it's a bit softer than Meteor Muse, but it has that noticeable multidimensional shift. Comet Couture is a yellow gold chrome with a subtle green reflect. It is bright, smooth, and much more wearable than it looks in the pan. I think that one in particular looks kind of scary in the pan. It kind of looks like a, how would I describe it? It's kind of like a bright gold orangey shade, but it's really nice once you see it swatched. And then we move into the toppers. So Moon Flare is a pale gold topper with fine shimmer and a soft reflective glow. And it is sheer at first, but builds up pretty quickly. It's probably the most bold topper out of the bunch. Lunar Voltage is like a mermaid shade, okay? It's a translucent base with a green-blue, mostly blue shift. And it works the best as a topper layered over other shadows. Starlight Fever is a sheer pink lilac topper with an iridescent finish. It is delicate, just perfectly light catching. And this one I tested out in some different ways too in terms of highlighting and layering, and it's so pretty. So across all of the swatches, you can see the texture is smooth. It's almost like applying a cream. Okay, it's crazy. It's reflective. It's not chunky. It's not glittery. There's no fallout. The chromes show the strongest color payoff on bare skin, while the topper shades are intentionally a bit more sheer. Not as sheer as like the e.l.f. toppers, but they're designed to enhance whatever is underneath rather than fully covering. So summary, the shades are fully opaque chromes. There's 3 shades that function best as sheer toppers. The swatches show smooth reflective finishes, and there's no chunky glitter or visible fallout. And then I take you through all of the shades in the blog post. You can see the pans, and you can see everything on my actual eyeballs. Now we're going to move into the review. So this is where I really want to talk about this formula. So when you touch it, it is emollient and creamy. It's not necessarily like a putty, like you can't push it around, but it really feels like a cream. The closest thing that I've tried that I can relate it to is a ColourPop Super Shock Shadow. And I will do a comparison, I hope, at some point of those two formulas, but they're not dupes. They're very different. They're meant to be different. But that's just the closest way I can describe it to you, but it's still different from ColourPop, okay? It's also similar to if you were to dampen your brush with setting spray when you're applying eyeshadow. It's just so creamy and emollient, but somehow it's a powder. It's just trippy. Get yourself a pan. It's $7. Stick your fingers in it, please. You're going to love it, okay? And the colored shades are full coverage, but they all have a chrome shift. There's no fallout. Honestly, it's just impressive that they can do this at $7. So I only ever apply this with my finger. I just had no desire to get in with a brush. And I probably should have because it makes the review more well-rounded, but we already know with this type of formula, finger is the way to go. So I just press it onto the lid. I'm getting strong color payoff, The color shift is obvious. It's beautiful. Just beautiful, okay? So I rated these 5 out of 5 for payoff, 5 out of 5 for fallout, and 4.5 out of 5 for ease of use, mainly because you have to use your finger if you really want these to come out well. And sometimes I know we don't want to stick our fingers in things. It's not sanitary, whatever, but I do. So shade behavior is what really matters in this review. So you have your 3 boom colored shades, which is your Comet Couture, Meteor Muse, and Nebula Rush. They're fully opaque, and those you can wear on their own, and they are crazy. And I went back and forth to trying them on their own and also paired with eyeshadow. You can do whatever you want. And then you have 3 shades that essentially have almost a transparent base with a reflective glitter in them. And that's your Lunar Voltage, Moon Flare, and Starlight Fever. And those I like as toppers, but I did wear them just standalone all over the eyelid, and they're beautiful. So you can layer them however you want. The design choice in this line, by doing that, by having it split between the types, just makes it really more versatile than a standard shimmer release. So what I did also in the blog post, I gave you some more swatches. So I went in my collection and I just grabbed some solid colored matte eyeshadows from Profusion, and I layered the Wet n Wild toppers over top so you could actually see the toppers used as toppers, and they're just beautiful. It really gives you a different way to imagine them. So now you can see the bluish shade over a blue, and I did the pink over a reddish pink, and then I took a light brown shade and put Moon Flare over it, and it just changes your interpretation, which I love. And I also show wearing Starlight Fever as an eyeshadow topper in a look that I did. And I like to push everything to the limit with my reviews and testing. So I also tried these as highlighter. So I did Starlight Fever as highlight on my actual like cheekbones and in the Cupid's bow on the nose, inner corner of the eye, brow bone. And then I also tried Moon Flare as a lip topper. So I put on some matte lipstick from Revlon, and I patted the Wet n Wild over top. What I will say is, like, it clings to the lipstick well, but it's going to add some dryness. Just like if you were to just put setting powder over your lips, it's going to dry out your lips a bit, but you still see that strong glittery effect, and it virtually didn't transfer. So at the end of the day, that color from the Wet n Wild eyeshadows was really large and in charge. And you'll see all of that in my videos when they come out. But I was really impressed. I probably would not reach for these as a lip topper. I don't like the dried out lip feeling. Will I reach for them as an highlighter? Probably not, just because of the colors. Obviously being yellow and blue and pinky purple. That's not for an everyday look. You can make it work, but on the everyday, I just pick, I guess we'll say, a normal shade. You know what I mean. So in terms of on the eye, and I'll get into this more when I talk about wear testing, they do travel around. And that doesn't bother me because the overall look is so beautiful, bold, and striking. I can't be mad at it, but I'll give you more detail on that. Because whenever I use these, I just consistently love my eye look. They're great on their own. They can be a finishing touch. They can be a one and done shadow if you're short on time, whatever you want to do. So what is setting these apart from the competition is there really isn't any competition, especially at the drugstore. This is first of its kind at the drugstore as far as I know. So you get a true chrome effect, strong color payoff, and versatile use. No fallout. The application's not complicated. You can't mess it up. It's really one of the easiest ways to get a high impact eye look without having to put in extra time and effort. Summary. Strong chrome payoff at the drugstore. Beautiful pricing, $7, okay. No fallout with a finger or brush application. Opaque shades work best worn alone. Topper shades add dimension without heaviness. And I also include a table of the key points, the key details, if you're interested in the blog post. Then move on to how to apply. So for best results, you'll want to think about using your fingertip, right? And just use pressing motions onto the eyelid. That's where you're going to get the full coverage and the multi-dimensional effect. A flat or synthetic brush can be used if you want a softer, more diffused look, but it will be less intense on the color. You can wear these on their own or over regular eyeshadow, and even use eyeshadow primer for a quick one and done look, or layer it over matte eyeshadow to add dimension. The transparent topper style shades work especially well layered, while the fully pigmented shades can go on their own. The formula is so versatile, so again, you can use it as highlighter, you can use it as a lip topper. What is the best eye primer to use with this? I'm a bit biased. Keeping it in-house, I'm going to tell you the Mega Last Eyeshadow Primer. Tell me why in recent times, just a side adventure, I saw a comment on Wet n Wild's Instagram where somebody was saying, bring back the eyeshadow primer. I am so confused by this. It is not discontinued. So we had the Mega Last Eyeshadow Primer, and several years ago it was slightly renamed and slightly repackaged. And maybe that's what they're referring to, but I compared the two. I had both. I can't find a difference between the old and the new. I firmly believe they just changed the name in the packaging a bit. So I don't know what that person is talking about. It exists. It's not discontinued. It is the best. I always say it's a dupe for like a Urban Decay primer potion. Okay? So no matter what eyeshadow you're wearing, I recommend that you wear a good primer. A good primer is going to grip. It's not going to allow oils through. It's going to prevent fading and creasing and cracking and all of the bad things. And Wet n Wild's eyeshadow primer is chef's kiss. So it's really going to help ensure that the reflective pigments are going to stay put. So you definitely want a long-lasting eyeshadow primer, especially if you get oily eyelids. If you don't want Wet n Wild, I do link you to my blog post where I go through all my favorite long-lasting eyeshadow primers. I need to update that though, just because I need to add some more to it. But also, another side adventure, I do have a bendable, and it's linked all over my site, in the menu, everywhere, on my Instagram, again, everywhere. And I do have a recommendations list in there that is up to date with all my favorite eye primers and face primers that extend makeup wear. So that bendable is always up to date because it's incredibly easy to update, unlike updating a blog post, which takes a lot of work. So you can always go there, check it out. It is one of my favorite platforms that you've probably never heard of. I've been on there for nearly a year. It is just so freaking cool to look at my recommendations and check them out and see little reviews and swatch them and everything. Okay, let me move on to wear tests. So, besides the fact that I tried these as eyeshadow, lip topper, eye topper, highlighter, I want to talk about more. So the first time I tried it, I put some eyeshadow like in the crease connected down to the outer corner, and I put these Wet n Wild shadows just on the eyelid of my finger, and I use basic eyeshadow primer. And what I find is they don't crease, they don't fade. Basically, they stay exactly the same at the end of the day. They just transfer a bit up into the crease. And normally that would drive me bananas, but this doesn't, just because they're so pretty. And like, quite honestly, I didn't need the eyeshadow that I applied. They really just do stand on their own and kind of gobbled up the whole eye look. But I tried the same exact thing again, and I said, let me put a glitter primer on the eyelid. So I used the NYX glitter primer. It's still transferred. It still goes up to the crease, so that doesn't really matter. And then, of course, I put these just all over the eyelid with no other eyeshadow, standard primer. And this time when I did that, I applied it just up over the crease everywhere. Again, no creasing, smooth, high impact finish. And if you're going to go highlighter, lip topper, they adhere, they last, they basically don't transfer. They really are just perfect. So summary, they hold up, of course, best on primed eyelids, but you can wear them alone. There is some crease transfer. They perform well in all ways, and the visual impact remains strong throughout wear. So I gave these 5 out of 5 stars, okay? We're reaching the end, I promise. So here we are with the pros and cons. So the pros, They are creamy, emollient, they glide on smoothly. Full coverage shades provide bold, opaque color. Topper shades add a multidimensional reflective effect. No fallout during application. Finger application maximizes color payoff, but brushes work too. Versatile, they work as eyeshadow, highlighter, or lip topper. They can be worn alone or layered over other shadows. They are time-saving one-and-done options for quick makeup looks. They're cruelty-free and affordable and first of their kind at the drugstore. Cons. Some of the shades, or really all of them, can transfer into the crease. Topper shades may require layering for full effect. Lip topper can add dryness to the lips. And finger application is best for maximum impact, which may not appeal to everybody. I also have frequently asked questions. Is the Chameleon Chrome eyeshadow creasing or chalky? Nope. In my testing, it doesn't crease. When worn over a normal primer, it's not chalky. In fact, it's creamy, it's smooth, and it's kind of like a wet look rather than a dry, chalky powder. Does the eyeshadow have fallout or flaking? I didn't experience any fallout or flaking. The formula presses onto the lid cleanly and it stays put and there's no glitter scatter. Do you need an eye primer? You don't have to, but I just personally never ever put anything on my eyelids without an eye primer because my eyelids do get a little bit oily and I'm 31 and I have some fine lines on the eyes and anything and everything is going to crease if I don't use a primer. Okay, so I always recommend it. You do you, but it stays true if you go just with a primed lid and put this straight on as step number 2. Okay, best eye primer to use. Just get yourself the Wet n Wild. It is so affordable and you know it's going to work. Okay, is the Chameleon Chrome eyeshadow more of a powder or cream formula? It's trippy, so it's somewhere in between. It's similar to a ColourPop Super Shock shadow, but isn't quite that at the same time. It's sort of like applying with a wet brush. It is creamy. It's emollient. Again, you just gotta try it, okay? How pigmented is it? So the 3 colored shades are full-on pigment in a single application. Then you have your 3 topper shades, a bit more sheer, but they do build up quickly. Does the color shift show up without a dark base? Yes, I actually didn't test any of these with a dark base. However, they would be really, really good for that, as would the Chameleon Chrome highlighters as well. If you want to put on like a black or a dark eyeshadow, eye paint, and put these over top, absolutely they're going to pop, and that would be a great way to try them out. But that'll give it the dimension, okay? And then I also include just some comments here from Reddit. I'm not going to read those. And we will end here. So my favorite color, of course, is the green Meteor Muse. And I'm going to look for excuses to use that green again. But I will try to incorporate these into my daily makeup looks. I try to ask myself, like, do I need a little glitter? Do I need a little topper here? I want to try these again because they're so good. And also, I have like $1 million idea for Wet n Wild. So I'm going to put it out there for free. But, okay. Remember the 40 palette? Several years ago, they came out with this ginormous eyeshadow palette, literally of 40 new shades. And I still have it. It's not available anymore. And the pigmentation, the quality was off the charts. I remember I sat down to use it for a party. And I dipped in way too much because I was expecting more like standard Wet n Wild formula, not like a high-end formula. And my eyeshadow look was like, it was too much. I put on too much because I didn't know to expect that. And I'm just imagining like a 40 palette, but just of Chameleon Chrome eyeshadow and hopefully new shades, but at least some kind of big palette, okay? So Wet n Wild, if you come out with a palette of these things, I need credit for them. I think that this is just a big idea, okay? But let me know which shade is calling your name. Are you going to try this? Have you tried it? I need to know. And what I really appreciate about these is I try to go through my ginormous eyeshadow collection too and make myself not necessarily like use everything or use every pan, but go back to things I haven't used in a long time. And a lot of these Chameleon Chrome shades really complement something else that's discontinued, but I have all of the Urban Decay On the Run palettes, and every palette has its own color story, like yellowy oranges and blues and all of that. And I was able to pull out each of those and pair them with these eyeshadows or with the eye foils. Kind of gives them new life and new purpose. So you might be able to play with these with some colorful palettes that you haven't reached for in a while and appreciate them again. But that is it. Now I have to decide what I want to go over next time, but we have a lot of ground to cover with these new releases. Thank you for listening, and I will get you next time.